What is up, YouTube? My name is Evan, and today I am finally bringing you a deck I've been wanting to bring you for some time. It is for the 2017-2018 post-rotation format, and the deck is Incineroar GX. There are plenty of ways to get this guy, plenty of printings. He's a little more pricey right now than I really expected, but I think that might be kind of a hiccup because generally speaking, nobody runs him. So this is a really cool time to try to pick him up and experiment. Because this guy, whom we're obviously running 3 of, has 250 HP, so a ton of bulk if you're not playing against a water deck. His 3 energy retreat, okay, it might seem daunting, but we're heading into a format here where Guzma is going to be extremely common, so retreat costs matter probably a little bit less than they might otherwise. And really, once this guy gets in your active slot, it's very easy to keep him trucking because his main attack is his 1 fire energy attack, Hustling Strike. It's 10 damage base, and then 20 more for each of your benched fire Pokemon. Now, you might normally want to combine this guy with Skyfield, but that's about to cycle out. But that's okay, that's perfectly fine, because, after all, this guy is still doing, with say, 5 fire Pokemon on your bench, he's getting a 100 point boost here, so he's hitting for 110 base off his Hustling Strike. 1 fire energy, 110 damage. And there are lots of ways we can enrich this damage to easily pick up 1-hit KOs, or at the very least, even with no bonuses, we're still pretty much 2-hit KOing almost anything. And with those lots of nice ways to boost that damage, we're easily talking 2-hit KOs on pretty much everybody. Now we do, that said, have the option, we're not looking to do it in this deck, but we could always Tiger Swing if we're really desperate. 80 and then 2 coins for 50 damage each, so basically think of it as a base 130 point attack for 3 energy, not too bad. And then he actually has a pretty nice GX attack here, Burning Slam, which is 200 and a guaranteed burn, which means even if they heal from the burn right away, they're still getting an extra 20, so it's like 2 turns of poison. So that's a 220 base GX move, easily picking up an OHKO on lots of things, potentially. Almost anything, in fact, drops to that. So we're going to run 3 of that guy. We're running 2 Torracats because we are going to rely upon Rare Candy to do a lot of our heavy lifting for getting our Incineroars out. And we're running 4 Littens here because we love basic fire Pokemon, so we can power up our Hustling Strike, which is our main move, but also just to make sure, obviously, that we can get our Incineroar out as quickly as possible. This deck is kind of early form, but I'm opting for 2 of the Fire Oricorio for its Passionate Dance, which is basically like a Bridget, only in the form of an attack, which is pretty amazing here. Because it's just 1 fire, and then search your deck for up to 3 basic fire types and just put them straight on your bench, which is amazing. We do have this Kindle attack here. We're not liable to use it, but, under the right circumstances, it could be nice for, like, ripping off a double colorless or a rainbow or something. So, it's a nice option to have. We're just going to use this thing to quickly power up our bench. That's the whole point. And here's some of that extra damage. Salazzle, not Salazzle GX. This thing's kind of an interesting little curveball here, but I really like it because we're capitalizing on Acerola here. So we're going to be able to pick these up and slap them down. And when you evolve to this thing that turn, it gives you the option, which of course you'll take, to leave their active Pokemon burned and poisoned. Which, regardless of whether they heal from the burn, they're guaranteed to take that 20 plus the 10 from poison. So it's like a guaranteed plus 30 for evolving to Salazzle that turn. That's a pretty good amount of damage. That's like 3 plus powers. It does have an attack here that's sort of a standard flamethrower thing. We might be able to use it in a pinch, but that's not why it's here. It's mainly here to drop out and then hit him right away with that hot poison as a plus 30 for when you need it to pick up knockouts with Incineroar. That's the reason it's here. And we're opting for 2 Salandits here, which we want to get down on the bench as quickly as we can, obviously, so that we've always got the option of that Salazzle, and we can also Acerola up one of them and then slap down and be ready to do it again next turn. These are some of our basic fire types we can load up really quickly, of course. We've got 1 Volcanion. It's a nice basic fire Pokemon we can go get. We can use its power heater to pump things up, including maybe boosting an Incineroar to firing its GX attack. Pretty nice there. We've opted for 1 Turtonator GX. This is largely for his Nitro tank, in case we need to get some Incineroars up to a healthier range of energy, or if we just want to make sure a bunch of things get energy all at once, if we've had to ditch a lot of energy early games as Sycamore or something like that, this guy can help get us on the way, but he does have attacks of his own, which are pretty decent, of course. And this was the card I really was tossing and turning about, Tapu Lele. I almost didn't want to run it because it kind of impedes our Hustling Strike a little bit, and that extra 20 can matter. But kind of the plan here is that you can drop her early. You can do whatever you need to get her into your active slot and or back out. And you can Acerola her up the second she takes damage. And even if you start the game with her, once again, we're going to Acerola her up. So honestly, I'm not as worried about it. I think getting the consistent start of having her search for Bridget is probably just a little bit more worth it than not, because otherwise we're either running a bunch of Bridgets, which might not pay out in the long run, or, well, we run into a myriad of other problems. So that is our lineup. And since we only have to worry about loading a bench of 5 Pokemon each, we're not going to, super top load our deck with basic Pokemon. And we do have Rescue Stretcher and stuff like that to reload them if we really need to. All right, moving on. We do have that one Bridget, pretty much just so we can go Ultra Ball into Lele to get it. And even mid-game, this can potentially be good if we kind of, have a slow start or whatever. And if not, you know what, we can discard it if it comes in late, but we'll probably be Leleing for it, so that's fine. And following that, we've got 4 Sycamores, because we want to just get those basics, puke them down onto our bench, and then just keep motoring through our deck as fast as we can. And this guy's still an amazing, amazing draw card. So let's put Bridget back in there just so she can get a little more screen time. Sorry about that. And we're also running 3 Ns. This is our supporter of choice when we want to preserve our evolutions, but we still need to draw those cards right away. And of course, mid to late game, if the prize race gets to be in the right place, this can be a nice way to back out of that. We've opted for 3 Guzmas, because remember, we don't have Versus Seeker in this format anymore. So this can be a great way to pick things out so that you can Hustling Strike and guarantee those KOs, which is quite nice. And then we are running, this also lets us switch things out if like your opponent tries to Guzma stall you or something like that by calling up, say, your Turtonator when he's not fully powered. If you've had to dump that guy out, this can be a great way to switch it back out. So this guy's here not only as like a pseudo Lysander, but also as a switch when you need it. So, and we're also finally running Acerola times 3. Reason being, this is a great way to pick up our Salazzles because we are running Po-Town, which means that when we evolve to our Salazzle, it'll get damage counters, so Acerola can pick it right up. And since Incineroar only needs 1 energy, it's easy for us to pick it up if we need to, and then replay using those Torracats and get another Incineroar online quickly. And this is going to be a great way to also, of course, deny prizes. It's just a super, super good card, and it's I think it's going to be a very crucial supporter in this new format. So that's kind of my thinking for this supporter lineup right here. It's a little heavier, but remember, no Versus Seeker anymore. And also, we're running a little heavier on supporters and Pokemon and energy. Well, not really so much on energy, but we're going a little lighter on items because you know what? Garbodor is a thing, and it's a thing you don't want to have to deal with if you don't have to. So denying that thing a little bit of power is nice. We got 3 rare candies to get up to our 3 Incineroars, assuming our Torracats aren't going to be playing for us that particular day. We've got 4 Ultra Balls here. These obviously just get us anything from Incineroar to Lele to whatever it is we're happening to need. I keep throwing stuff off to the side today, guys. I don't know what I'm thinking. There are those rare candies. Now you can see them. So you can say, oh, that list is easy to follow. Yes, I see it. All right. And we've got 3 copies of Po-Town here so that anytime they evolve up, they get those damage counters on them. And you know what? If they don't run any evolutions, then their HP is going to be lower. So it's not that big of a deal right there. So that's just basically it's another way to do like a triple plus power on your attacks. And speaking of triple plus powers, our item of choice is going to be Choice Band. And that's plus 30 in our attacks to GXs and EXs. And remember, if something doesn't fit that criteria, then we're probably going to be OHKOing it anyway. So this is just to help us pick up those OHKOs or put tremendous pressure onto anything we're not OHKOing. And even if we don't get it in one shot, chances are that there won't be much left in the way of HP, so another Pokemon, even if our Incineroar's not around, can probably pick up the revenge kill. So, I mean, when you think about it, you got Choice Band, plus 30. You got Po-Town, plus 30, assuming they only evolved once. Like, let's say they rare candy to their Gardevoir GX, for example, so they only evolved one time. Or then let's say after that you've got your Salazzle, that Poison's doing 30, well, the Poison Burn thing that it does. That's 90 extra damage. Think about Hustling Strike for 110 base. That's 200 damage for a single energy. Not too shabby. Anyway, so you just see where the damage is there. We got 2 Rescue Stretchers, a great way to pick up the right Mon, keep our bench full of fire types, and we can shuffle 3 back into our deck, which can be nice with those Sycamores if we need to. Kind of make sure we get them. We got Field Blower, just to help us pick up knockouts by knocking off things like Fighting Fury Belt, obviously. And I've also opted for 2 float stones because we got a number of guys here with heavy retreats and we might want to get them back to the bench. And the nice thing is this has terrific synergy with Acerola because you can basically just go float stone, retreat it back to the bench, and then later on when you get an Acerola, you can just pick that thing up and everything attached to it, and you get to save your float stone so that you can attach it to somebody else and free retreat them. It's like a repeating switch. It's pretty nice. And that is it for all that. So you can see that we've got a pretty light item count here, which is, once again, because of Garbodor, that's just nice. And finally, we run just a very simple 10 fire energies here. That's all she wrote, and that's really all we need. We're very low on our energy costs for the most part, unless we kind of get into a weird situation. And basically, like I say, this deck's a little early form. There are a lot of ways you can interpret Incineroar GX, but I thought that with all these damage boosting effects would be a cool way to do it. So take it, play with your friends. I wouldn't necessarily, take it to a giant tournament yet. I still want to play with it, and I think I may bring this deck back later. But if you have any ideas, suggestions, thoughts, hey, feel free to throw them down in the comments. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe, check me out on my channel, and I will see you next time.